Okay, so I know I basically just recorded a cell phone vlog, but I stuff just happened and stuff was happening today that I wanted to talk about. Nothing too insane, but first off, I'm gonna get the important thing out of the way before I get into the stuff most people will probably click away for. The first thing is check your bank account if you're. I don't even know the stipulation of it, but I got my stimulus check in. That was the whole thing that Trump was doing, and that that they were doing about basically depositing anyone who filed their taxes in 2019 should receive a stimulus check, which is about $1,200 directly deposited into your account or possibly by check through airmail. And to hopefully alleviate a lot of what's going on, given the fact that a lot of us are forcibly unemployed at this time. So I did get my second unemployment check and the stimulus check on top of it. So I got a nice, huge, like $1,400 deposit, which completely saved my life. I literally almost started crying because I was so fucking. I'm just so like relieved I got that because that'll allow me to like fix a lot of the debt that my card was accumulating throughout all this. That'll help me obviously pay a full amount of rent because as I mentioned in the last one, we're paying a slightly reduced rent each month for the fact that we're not working. It's about $300 taken off our rent, and that $300 will be applied in chunks of 50 in the following months once things get back on track. I don't want that debt to accumulate. I don't want to have in 2 months or at the end of this month to then owe basically another almost actually after in 2 months I will owe $900 uh, for back pay for rent. I don't want to have to do that, obviously. So I'm going to take this full amount. I'm going to pay the full amount of rent for this month and set aside money, pay money on my cards, and keep money in my pocket for food and groceries and stuff and keep us afloat for now. Still be getting unemployment checks, which will really help. But yeah, I'm going to take out the rest of a full month's rent. Me and Dylan will do that tomorrow. And hopefully not let that backlog of debt build up. So that's good. If you filed your taxes in 2019, check your bank account or whatever have you, and you might receive a stimulus check, which is fantastic. Obviously, I'm worried about how we're gonna have to pay the government back on that, which is understandable, but at the same time, like this isn't our choice. This is a result of dumb, ignorant people, and for you guys not having a plan to handle the situation, or at least a good plan. And now, we're getting completely fucked over. So we're probably gonna have to pay all that back in taxes. I think it's a little bit more gonna be coming out of our paychecks next year or something like that to pay back that amount. I'm not sure how it's working. I'm not a person who has any information, so whatever. But yeah, so that happened, and that's great. Uh, the other thing I wanted to mention, which is some book stuff. So if you're not interested in book stuff, sorry, um, head on out of here, whatever. But for some book stuff related, I am pretty much done with Cataclysm, and that's about 130 some odd pages. But Cataclysm is about there's a lot of backstory. There's a lot of characters' backstories that we get into that you don't necessarily know in book one, and by reading this, you would spoil some of the um, a lot of the exposition for book two, and it would alleviate a lot of the mysteries surrounding new characters that'll come about in book two. But those characters I'm going to talk about in book two, who get a little bit of exposition in Cataclysm, won't get full exposition of their history in book two. They're going to get a very, as far as I'm aware right now, they're going to get an abridged version of their history and who they are and their motives as the story progresses through dialogue. So you're only going to learn what you need to know about these characters and their reasons for doing what they're doing to continue the story. This is just a deeper look into where they came from. Like, for example, Ken and Magcrow, Host and Tuffle, I've talked about this before, but in book two, you're going to learn about, hey, how do you know all this? How are you helping? And what's your reason for helping, kind of thing. You're going to learn that, which is, his past and how he got here. It'll be a very abridged version of that would be natural in dialogue. Versus in Cataclysm, I have probably 10 to 15 pages, maybe more, going over everything that happened to Ken, how he came to get Mad Crow, and how he was involved in everything that's going on a little bit deeper. So you see what I'm saying? Like it would essentially spoil that character's background, but also give you a deeper insight on his background as you're reading the abridged version of book 2. So I don't think I'm going to release Cataclysm in that same way. I'm going to hold on to it. And for people who don't care about having that, then I could, potentially let them read it or whatever have you, because I'm happy with it. I'm proud with it. So, and then moving on to that, which is I was looking through book 2 stuff, and book 2 stuff, I hit a really snag. It took up about, if you want to know how crazy it is to be a writer, and it feels weird calling myself a writer. I don't like giving myself those titles. Like, I'm a gamer, giving myself those titles. I'm me. I do my thing. But being a writer, ask Dylan. Like, I always say ask Dylan because he gets to experience now what Sam used to experience, which is my roughly 2 hour obsession over a notebook that I thought I lost. Now, I'm convinced that there were 3 notebooks. I had my notebook for Origins Transgression, which is the last book that I just wrote and is waiting to be released. And that one I carried in a backpack with me. I carried all 3 of these notebooks in my backpack that I carried around with me to the library and stuff to do work on. I had another book, which was unlabeled, which had a lot of old book 2 outline notes. Basically, like the sequence of events as I wanted to hit them to reference, so I knew where I was going when I started actually writing the draft for book 2, or rather continued it. I already started the draft. And then there was a third notebook, which was a revised version of the outline and a lot cleaner, and just like I pick and chose all the elements I was going to use because it was kind of messy in the other one, and cleaned them up and organized them into another book that I was going to continue writing in. That third notebook disappeared. I went on my computer and I found the Word document where I was transferring all of these outline notes onto the computer, so I could reference them on the desktop and not have to reference my bad handwriting. So I was transcribing my notes onto the computer. The document on the computer was lacking a lot of stuff that I thought I wrote. So I was looking around for this notebook 3, that I don't think exists. So it was this whole conundrum of me searching, tearing the house apart, looking for a notebook that I don't even think exists. But I remember transcribing these from one notebook to another notebook, and then from that second notebook to the computer. I remember doing that. But the computer doesn't have that document up to date where I thought I was. And it's not an old document. It's the only document. And there's no second notebook that I transcribed to originally. Just a lot of messy notes with a lot of asterisks and scribbles and crossouts and check marks and stars saying use this, don't use this, don't use this. A lot of arrows pointing. So it looks like a fucking formula. It's ridiculous. So I'm looking around like there has to be another notebook. And I remembered there was a particular scene that I know I wrote down, because I was like, this is perfect. This fixes a lot of this stuff. It makes it so I don't have to do a lot of this stuff to get to this point. This is perfect. It allows me to explore this without having it being cluttered with this. And in my head, I'm going over it, but for you guys, you have no idea. But it allowed me to basically chop out a lot of clutter and make it a more naturally flowing, clean slate, essentially. And I remember thinking this, and I remember writing it down. It's a miracle I remember that, by the way, because I have no notes of that scene that I thought I wrote down anywhere. So that's why I was convinced there has to be another notebook. But there's fucking not. So that was like a 2-hour thing. And essentially what I did was I transcribed a lot of stuff onto my computer. And tomorrow, after I'm done drawing that cover photo on stream, I'm going to work on translating all of my written notes into what I'm actually using and putting it on the computer. Because now that I'm basically done with Cataclysm, outside of just further cleanup, I'm going to start working on the book 2 outline and try to get that as set as I can while I have the time. It's a daunting task, but I'm ready to do it, I think. Even though I am burnt the fuck out. I am so burnt out, it's not even funny. I can't tell you how long my ass has been sitting in that chair writing. So, I don't know what the plan is for the coming week. I think I'm going to try to take a break from writing once I get some stuff situated, and maybe record some more videos for you guys. I just recorded some Minecraft today. I think I'm going to try to record more Minecraft and some other stuff that I have in notes on my phone. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. Good news and a lot of good feelings, and I'm feeling, and I recited a lot of the book 2 plot to Dylan, because if I am able to recite my step-by-step plan of where I'm going, and he was okay, he was like, yeah, sure, spoil me. If I was able to recite all that and get to where I'm going off the top of my head, then I know where I'm going. I just have to get it all on paper and organize it. So I'm feeling good about the story. Which, by the way, hey, I'm looking at my own mirrored photo right here. Dude, I look good. This facial hair it's starting to come in a little bit. Like, this is the most facial. It's like, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of like Orlando Bloom over here, a little bit of Johnny Depp. You know what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I need to clean up. It's a little bit thick in the mustache, but I think it's starting to come in a little bit. Yeah. No, it looks weird. I gotta clean up like past my lip. I gotta clean up that. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening, and that's what I'm doing. So I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow to finish up the drawing. And I'll probably be streaming other drawings too while I'm at it. Not tomorrow, but I will continue to stream drawings. My arm is going numb. And Dylan texted me. I gotta respond to that. Thanks for watching.